who's up for a catch up? Long time no chat, or at least it kind of feels like, or it is the fact that I have been uploading the past couple of months very intermittently, very sporadically, and if I'm sounding, I'm listening to myself now, if I'm sounding a little bit nasally, sounding a little bit peaky, it's because I'm getting over being sick again, which has kind of been the soundtrack of this year. It's been a wonderful year and lots of good things have happened, but I also think I have overextended myself somewhat. I've pushed myself quite hard, and every opportunity my body's gone, now you're sick. You've done the big thing, sick now. And I just most recently submitted a book for a deadline and got sick. So perfectly in keeping with this year in general. Now that that is no longer like hanging over my head, we still have edits, and that's not to say I didn't really enjoy writing it, but you know, there's still a sense of like expectation and pressure, especially when you want to do the best job you can possibly do. I feel like a little bit freer, and I feel like the opportunity has arisen for me to put more time and energy back into YouTube, which is something that I obviously love to do. I wouldn't have been filming YouTube videos for 13 years almost now if I didn't love it. Like, I am not making riches from this channel. I do it because I love it, and that is still true. And I have a bunch of videos that I want to film. Like, I've got a little list that's been ongoing and growing for the past few months of videos I want to film and kind of want to run by you. But I just felt like before I did any of that, I need to sit down and catch up. Like, I got married this year and I haven't even really talked about it on YouTube, and that kind of feels blasphemous given how long I have spent on this channel with all of you. So yeah, if you didn't gather by that rambling introduction or the title of this video, we're just going to catch up. We're going to talk about life, the personal stuff, the work stuff, the YouTube stuff, the online stuff, the book stuff, what have you, whatever comes to mind. And hopefully that will be a nice way to reset going into autumn. So I guess I should start with the fact I got married, because that's like the biggest personal life change. If you follow me on Instagram, I have shared photographs from the wedding over there, so you will probably know that I got married, but obviously that was like a big deal. It was a really, really special occasion, a really wonderful day to celebrate my relationship with my now husband, which is odd getting used to saying. We got married at the Edinburgh Botanical Gardens, which was where we always wanted to get married. And well, if you remember when I got engaged, which was last year, you might think it was quite a quick turnaround to plan a wedding. Let me clarify that Chris and I had planned our wedding before we got engaged. We had booked our venue, the date, we knew where and when we were getting married for quite a while before we got engaged, because we talked about those things. We thought, hey, we kind of want to get married this year. We know we plan on spending the rest of our lives together. Maybe we should make sure it's got availability. Oh, it does. Let's book it, and then we'll get engaged sometime down the line. The engagement was more of like a romantic formality than anything else. So that happened in April, and it was the most beautiful day. Talking about the fact that I've been making YouTube videos for so long, it was so special to me that we both had friends and family who had been there through our lives at the wedding, you know, who had maybe known us since we were babies. One of my bridesmaids I'd known since nursery, to friends we'd made more recently, and I had like friends I have made via the internet and via booktube at my wedding, which just really goes to show how wonderful a decision it was to make that channel all those years ago. Like, those people are so special to me, and hopefully I'll remember to pop some pictures on the screen as I'm chatting of people I know are okay with being shown. I obviously don't want to pop pictures of everybody on the internet, but it was a wonderful day. What more can I say? Like, it went off without a hitch. We had a wonderful time. We went off on our honeymoon immediately after, the day after, and that takes me back to my body thinking any opportunity for rest is an opportunity to get sick. We did get sick on our honeymoon and we had to come home early. We had to come home early from our honeymoon, but we actually had a lovely time at the beginning of the honeymoon. We were fine like for the first few days, and it was lovely. I actually bought this cup on our honeymoon, and I think it's my favourite souvenir from the entire honeymoon. But we went to Paris and we had a wonderful time, and the wedding was wonderful. Yeah, if it wasn't so expensive and time consuming, I'd do it every year. It was a ton of fun. I love getting people together. Like, I am a organizer, I'm a planner, I love hosting, so like a wedding is kind of like the ultimate version of that, right? You get to have basically everybody you love and care about in one room, and there were a few people we loved who couldn't make it, because that is just I think the kind of outcome when you're inviting all those people, that maybe, you know, one or two aren't going to have that date free, and that's completely okay, and we would have loved to have them there. But otherwise, so many people I loved in one room was so special, and that was like my favourite part. It was like I got to celebrate my love for Chris and our relationship with all the people we love, and that's all I ever wanted from a wedding. That was literally my expectation. I'm not religious. Socially, I don't think weddings or getting married are necessary. My parents never got married. It had no impact on their relationship or my perception of them. For me, a wedding is just an opportunity to celebrate your love and have a big party, and I really enjoyed that. And we did do a traditional hand fasting ceremony, which was really nice. But yeah, our day was wonderful, the venue was wonderful, our photographer was incredible. If you're looking for a wedding photographer or just a photographer in general in Scotland, Nicola is fantastic. I will link her Instagram down below, as was our cake designer. She's based in Glasgow and she makes the most stunning cakes. I wish I'd had a chance to eat more of it, but the whole day just goes by so fast. It was a beautiful cake. So yeah, everything was perfect. I got my dress second hand from this incredible second hand wedding dress boutique in Edinburgh, and I thought that was really special. If you have any questions about anything you see in any of the photographs about where we got anything from the wedding, just let me know. I will happily share the information with you. But then we went on our honeymoon, I got sick, came back, and my debut traditional published novel came out because I have no chill. So I won't spend loads of time talking about this because I have already talked about it. You're probably sick to the back teeth of it. But I did publish a novel this year, and though I have self-published a novel in the past, it was the first time I published a novel with a publisher, and it was published by Michael Joseph, who are an imprint of Penguin, and it's one of the highlights of my life so far, this book. Like, it coming out, writing it, the editorial process I loved with my editors, like everything about it, and being tagged and tagged by people who have enjoyed it or who have bought it online is so special. Like, every single time anybody tags me, thankfully I haven't been tagged in any bad reviews, which I'm all for existing, I just don't need to see them, has been so special. Like, I get a little bit teary-eyed whenever anybody says they enjoyed it. Is so special. And even if you didn't know this, you can probably guess by the title, it is a retelling of Arthurian legends. So it's set in medieval Britain. It's always funny to say that because obviously it wasn't called Britain back then, but we'll just say medieval Britain, in a kind of like faux historical mythological version of medieval Britain based on the Arthurian legends, which are mostly preserved in sort of Old English, Welsh and French texts. And I did a ton of research for that book, which was a ton of fun. I even did a whole YouTube video recommending books on Arthurian legends. If you're interested in learning more about the material that inspired The Lady of the Lake, I'll link that down below. I loved the research process and I loved the writing process. And oh, I'll insert a picture because I recently commissioned artwork of the protagonists. So it's a first person POV book from the perspective of the Lady of the Lake herself, Vivian, but I also commissioned artwork of her love interest and her best friend and her sometimes rival, Morgan, aka Morgan Le Fay, and I am so in love with this. There's something so special about seeing your characters brought to life, and the artist did such an incredible job. I am obsessed with these images. I'm going to get one of them printed off so I can pop it on my gallery wall. I love this artwork. So yeah, if you want to get a sense of what I imagine Vivian and Morgan to look like, this is what they look like. And then literally the same month, because May was just super busy, I had 2 more edited volumes come out with Macmillan Collectors Library. I have now been editing books for MCL for a few years now. I don't know how to count time, so we're not going to try, but for a few years now I've been editing books in the series, and I'm on 6 at the minute, and I can say that there will be a 7th coming out next year. I won't give away what the theme is, but number 7 is coming. I'm still consistently working on this series and kind of building up this myths and legends catalogue within the within the Macmillan Collector's Library, which is a ton of fun and also really special to me, because if you've been watching my channel for a really long time, you'll know that I used to create videos for Pan Macmillan, and one of the first ever videos I made for Pan Macmillan was about the Macmillan Collector's Library. I now edit them, which is like a dream come true. So I have been commissioned for a few more. You can expect some in 2026. Maybe some in 2027. I can say no more than that, but this year we had a volume on fairies come out and a volume on mermaids come out, and I'm also super proud of those, and I love being a part of this imprint, and working with the MCL team is a dream. I absolutely love it. So that's everything that came out this year, but like I said, I did just have a deadline pass me by, but like I said, I did just have a deadline pass. So this is a really exciting deadline, and I wish I could say more about it, but technically I'm not supposed to like announce the book yet, but it's one of those funny things where you could quite easily figure out what the book was if you did a little bit of Googling. But there will be an official announcement, hopefully in the next few weeks to month, about this book. But what I can say is that it's kind of like, I don't know, everything I was ever working to with my degrees. So I always wanted to be an accessible historian, somebody who created popular history that was accessible to everybody, and I have been that. I am that. I obviously have written a lot of children's books. I've written a little book for adults, but this will be my first ever like trade non-fiction book, and what that generally refers to is the kind of non-fiction book that anybody can pick up, you know, and that anybody with a bit of an interest can pick up and enjoy. It is very much rooted in academic research, and I spent a lot of time researching for this book, but it is hopefully written in a fashion that you don't need to come to it with a ton of prior knowledge. You don't need to have a degree in this subject. It isn't written for students or academics. It's written for everybody, but with a foundation in the research, and I am so excited to talk about it more because it's a subject I've wanted to write about for years. Like, kind of to the tail end of my PhD, I was thinking more and more about this subject, and then last year with my agent I said I really want to pitch this book, and we came up with a whole proposal and material and samples for the publisher, and I've loved working with the publisher for this book and my editor, so I'm excited to share more information with you, but it's another dream come true for like absolute certain. But that will be coming out next year. I'm also commissioned for some other little bits and bobs like the MCL books that I can't say much more about, but I do have more books coming, which is again like really wild to me. Like, being an author both of non-fiction and fiction has always been my dream, so I can't believe that that is my like primary job now. Like, I am kind of a full-time author. I always feel funny saying full-time author because if I just counted the money I made from my books, it wouldn't quite be enough. Like, I do some other work too. I am self-employed, but you know, like a large part of that is just my books, and that's kind of incredible. But other than that, I've been watching a lot of horror films. I've been collecting a lot of Pokemon cards. I have of course been reading a lot of books, some of which I have talked about on here, and I have been creating content, less than I would have liked for YouTube, but I have been creating content, and I'm excited to create more, especially long form content, especially when I'm on deadline and when like I'm really busy. Obviously making like a short little TikTok is easier than making a YouTube video, but there are some things that just deserve a YouTube video, and there's also just something really unique and special about making YouTube content I don't think the short form platforms can capture. For me anyway. Maybe I'm just very millennial about it all, but that's how I feel. And I do have some videos planned. In particular this month I really want to next film a video all about Sapphic book recommendations, because it is Sapphic September, so I thought I would do a video recommending Sapphic books in every genre, or as many genres as I can think of. So hopefully that will be up next, and I'll manage to film that this week as well. I have some other book recommendation videos I want to film, and I also have some like history and mythology videos I want to film, but that's something I also wanted to like check in with you guys about. One of my more recent videos was actually a bit different in the sense that it wasn't about Greek or Roman mythology, it was about Scottish myths and legends, and I actually filmed it in the woods. If you didn't watch it, you probably don't know that because I don't think the thumbnail thumbnail shows that it's in the woods, but like I went to the woods with my little camera and my little microphone, and I like sat there hoping that nobody walked in on me filming myself and talked about scary Scottish folklore, and I loved filming that. But I also appreciate that that's a little bit different for me, at least on YouTube, and it didn't necessarily get as many views as usual, so it's that kind of like difficult balancing act, isn't it? Like I never want to be guided entirely by views, but I also want to create things that people want to see. So I would actually really like to create more content like that, more content about folklore and mythology from Scotland, and more broadly Celtic mythology, maybe Arthurian legends, and also Greek and Roman myths and legends, as well as some more history content. And that is something I do plan on doing, but I guess I'll try and like intersperse it maybe with the stuff that you've come to love and expect from me. I don't know, it's kind of, like I said, it's difficult figuring out when to experiment and when not to experiment, because I do at the end of the day also just love filming a book haul. It's just nice to chat about the books you bought, isn't it? So hopefully you'll get a bit of a mixture of things on my channel in the coming months, a mixture of history, literature. I was even thinking of filming a top 10 horror films. I don't often record videos about film, but I do plan on doing an updated top 10 horror books for October, so I thought maybe I'll do top 10 horror films as well, if that's something you care about, because I've gotten really into horror in the past year or two. Like really into horror. It's my favourite film genre now. I used to be the kind of person who would refuse to come to the sleepover as a kid if there was a horror film. Now it is my absolute favourite. What can I say? We grow and we change. But as always, I love creating stuff that I know people are interested in, even if it's only 1 or 2 people. So I love getting video requests or hearing about themes and subjects you like to see, because it's just nice to know that you're making something that somebody is going to really enjoy, and it feels more like a conversation. So yeah, like always come at me with your video requests. I don't care what platform you send them to me on. I love hearing them. My plan is to get back into filming at least 1 YouTube video a week, as well as my short form content for TikTok and Instagram, because I do love both. I think there's a place for both. I'd also like to film some more like writing content, maybe some writing advice. I still, like, this is how I feel about even ancient history, and I've got a PhD in the subject. I don't feel like an expert in anything really, but you know, I've been publishing and writing both fiction and non-fiction now for quite a few years, and I've got quite a few books, so I'm sure I probably have something useful to say, even if it's just to like not worry too much about it. So I do want to film some more writing content, and I'm hoping now that big non-fiction book is mainly done with edits to come, I can get on with the next novel. Not contracted, but I am hoping to obviously get a contract for my next novel, so I need to get on with writing it. And it's a retelling of one of my favourite Scottish fairy tales, so I'm like so eager to like really jump into it. I have a plan for the novel. I've drafted a few chapters, and now I need to like really just immerse myself in it. I'm really excited about that because I love writing fiction. Somebody asked me at an event recently like what the difference was when I was writing fiction versus non-fiction, but for me they're very similar processes, and I don't know if that's just because I'm like always research first. So like with Lady of the Lake I did a lot of Arthurian and medieval research, and even with this book, like it looks like reading a lot of Scottish folktale, learning about traditional Scottish folk belief, about cunning folk, because there's a cunning woman in my book, and everything like that. Even if it's set in a fantastical version of our historical past, I still love to research. I love to research and find my inspiration in the research process. So it's like that, but then I get to have all this fun by making it into a narrative and creating characters, which is quite freeing. So I love that, and I'm really eager to write my next like standalone fantasy book. But yeah, I think that kind of covers it. I'm sure I'll go away from this video and when I'm editing it think, oh, I should have mentioned this and I should have talked about this, but this is this is all that's coming to mind right now to update you on, and I just thought it would be nice to sit down and chat like this. As always, thank you for bearing with me during those periods when I don't film as much. Obviously this isn't the first time this has ever happened in 13 years, and I really appreciate you sticking around and and checking in when there is content that you are interested in. It means a lot to me, your engagement and just like your community, so thank you. If you would like to support my channel, I should say that I do have a Patreon that you can subscribe to. I do occasionally post content on there. It's obviously not as regular, it's very much just like bonus content when I can. But if you'd like to contribute to my free content and leave me a little tip, then that is there. And actually, if you'd like to do something that is entirely free but will contribute to the growing Pokemon card collection I have here, particularly regarding the Clefairies, then you can also use my Whatnot referral link down below to get £10 free credit to use on Whatnot, and then when you use your credit, I get £10 to also spend on Pokemon cards. Not that you have to buy Pokemon cards, but that's what I will do. But I guess that just about covers it all. That's all the important things, right? Wedding, books, YouTube content, Pokemon. What else is there to say, really? I hope you enjoyed just catching up with me. I'd love to hear from you. Like, how are you all doing? Have you read anything good recently? Has anything exciting happened this year? Let me know and let's just chat. But until next time, happy reading, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye everyone.